The series begins with Mo in a heated argument with her mother. Her mother keeps trying to convince her to travel to Canada with her and her new husband to continue her education there, but Mo completely refuses the idea. Ever since her parents' divorce years ago, she has been living with one fragile hope that her father and her brother Jin will one day come back for her, that they will search for her, and that somehow all of them will live together again as a family. Because her mother understands exactly what is going on inside her heart, she decides to give her the truth all at once, to end the pink, idealized dreams her daughter has been clinging to for years. She tells her bluntly that Jin is not actually her brother at all. Her father had adopted him after his real parents died in an accident. On top of that, her father himself has remarried and now has another child. There is absolutely no chance that they will ever come back looking for her. The truth hits Mo from every direction at once. Shattered, she immediately takes the first flight to Thailand, determined to search for them and see this story with her own eyes. Exhausted, she falls asleep on the plane. When she wakes up, the girl sitting next to her gently nudges her and introduces herself. "My name is Nana," she says. "Are you here for tourism, or are you from here?" Mo ends up telling her her entire life story, that she's traveling to meet her brother, someone she hasn't known anything about for years. When Nana asks her half-teasingly, "So, is he handsome?" Mo's face instantly softens, her expression turning almost heart-shaped. She describes him as kind, handsome, incredibly hardworking, someone who always ranked first, someone who never lost his temper. At that exact moment, the image shifts. We see Jin, the kind, beautiful boy who always came first, walking into an illegal underground boxing ring. The fights are brutal, unlawful, and raw. It's obvious life has crushed him mercilessly, reshaping him into a completely different person. After taking a savage beating, he still manages to win the fight in the end. As he stands there, gasping for breath, his phone rings. It's his father, calling to tell him that his sister is coming to see them, and that he should go pick her up from the airport. He sends him the flight details. Jin stares at himself in the mirror, at the bruises, the cuts, the hardened face, and realizes that this image is nothing like what she must be imagining. The next day, when Mo arrives at the airport, Jin sends her a message telling her he's waiting in front of the gate. She rushes out, bursting with excitement, only to suddenly be surrounded by taxi drivers trying to force her into their cars. In the middle of the chaos, she hears a voice, Jin's voice, telling them to leave her alone, that she's riding with him. He doesn't even move from his spot. With pure charisma, he waits for her to come to him. Mo freezes. She stares at him, completely confused. Who is this man exactly? What's with the lighter in his hand? Who messed up his face like that? Trying to break the awkwardness, he says, "What, you didn't recognize me or what? Anyway, your father asked me to come pick you up." He takes her suitcase to put it in the car while she remains rooted to the ground, trying to process how, when, and where everything went wrong. He snaps her out of it and tells her to get in so they can leave. The entire drive, Mo keeps staring at him in disbelief. She asks him what exactly he does in his life, whether the car is even his, or if he stole it, whether he's still studying or not. He casually tells her he stopped studying after high school. She almost loses control. He was brilliant back then, always expected to enter a top university before they were separated. Suddenly, a motorcycle pulls up beside them. A red-haired guy, clearly rough and hardened by prison life, calls out to Jin, asking him to come drink with them. Then he glances at Mo and smirks, asking who she is, and whether the green snake knows he's hanging out with other girls. Jin gives him a sideways glance and continues driving without reacting. Mo can't process it. Not his friends, not their appearance, not this life. She keeps everything bottled up inside, knowing he wouldn't answer even if she asked. When they arrive home, she receives her second shock. She finds her father collapsed on the floor, drunk beyond measure. From the kitchen, she hears his wife shouting, complaining that he does nothing with his life except drink, and that soon they'll be dragging him out of hospitals because of what he's doing to himself. Once she realizes she's arrived, she steps forward to greet her. The woman calls for Chen, her little daughter, no more than 6 years old, to come say hello to her older sister. Mo struggles to comprehend the magnitude of change that has happened over the years. She pulls out the gifts she brought with her and gives them to everyone. Later, they all eat together. Suddenly, San, Jin's friend, shows up and pulls him aside to talk, taking him downstairs. Mo feels deeply upset. He didn't even bother opening the gift she brought him. After waiting a bit, she follows them, trying to understand the strange life he's living. She finds Jin standing on the stairs with San, who asks him bluntly, "Are you tired of living, or are you trying to get yourself killed?" Her worry deepens. She's sure now that he's tangled up in something dangerous. San notices her and smiles. "Your name means night, right?" he says. "Come by the workshop. I've got a big secret for you." Then he leaves, giving them space. Mo hands Jin his gift, explaining that she's just a guest and that's why she had to bring something with her. She leaves and goes back upstairs. That night, she can't stop thinking, what could have happened to him to make him abandon school and turn into this person? She decides she has to find out herself. She texts him, telling him she's alone and hungry. He asks her to come down so he can get her food. He takes her to a fish restaurant, knowing she likes that kind of food. When she gets lost in the menu, he orders for her himself. She finds it strange. He's been silent the entire time, never asking once about her life, never explaining why he disappeared all those years or why he never checked on her. She finally says, if you don't have curiosity about my life, that's fine, but I do. She unleashes a stream of questions. What exactly he does for a living, what happened to his face, why he quit school, how his life turned out this way. He cuts it all short by saying he eats and drinks well, and that's enough. At that moment, his red-haired friend Fang shows up, teasing him for ditching the party to hang out with girls. Jin lets him mess around a bit so she can relax, then quietly takes her plate and removes the onions, knowing she doesn't like them. But by then, Mo is already upset and refuses to eat. They leave so he can take her home. On the way, she asks him who the green snake really is and whether he's in a relationship. Before he can dodge the question, a group of men storms into the restaurant, clearly looking for a fight with him. Chaos erupts. Fang throws him his scooter key so he can take his sister home first and deal with the fight later. In the middle of all the action, Mo feels like she's on another planet, happy just riding behind him, thrilled that this is finally the day they are together again. When they get home, she interrogates him briefly, who those men were and what they wanted. He steps close to her and says, "You're way too curious. Ever since you saw my face, all you do is ask questions." She gets flustered, pulls back, and retreats into her room. Later, he goes out drinking with his friends. Suddenly, a message arrives that drains the color from his face. The On gang has taken his father hostage. He rushes there and comes face to face with the green snake, Kira, the daughter of the gang leader. He throws part of the money he owes her and tells her the rest will come in installments, warning her not to pull stunts like this again. Next time, he might just leave his father there. When Kira sees him about to leave so quickly, she tells him the truth. No one touched his father at all. They found him passed out drunk on the street. She even tells him she spent over 2 hours getting ready, putting on makeup just so he would see her properly. She offers him a deal. If he stays and has dinner with her, she'll wipe out all his debts. He struggles to control himself. He knows she's been waiting for years for him to even look her way. But the moment Mo texts him, asking when he's coming home, he pulls away and leaves. The next morning, Mo wakes up surprised that he still hasn't returned. His father's wife tells her that he rarely comes home, that he lives alone in another place and only visits occasionally. Mo starts thinking of an excuse to make him come back. She quickly sneaks into the bathroom and breaks the water heater before anyone sees her, then calls out for help, so that she can call him to come and save the situation, because obviously no one is going to shower with cold water. And indeed, her plan works. In less than half an hour, Jin shows up and starts fixing the water heater. As soon as he finishes, he puts on his jacket quickly, clearly ready to leave. Mo tries to start any kind of conversation, anything at all, just to slow him down so he won't leave so fast. But he's in a hurry. He has important work to attend to. He goes downstairs and leaves. At that moment, Mo feels deeply upset. She follows him outside and jumps into the first taxi she sees, determined to follow him and finally understand what kind of work makes him rush like this. She sees him park his car and continue on foot, so she gets out quickly as well. Suddenly, she finds him standing right in front of her. He noticed her the moment she got into the taxi. She pretends to be shocked, acting innocent. "Oh my God, what a coincidence. I just got bored, so I decided to walk around the city a bit." But he knows she's lying. He hands her some money, telling her to go back home and stop following him. Then he gets into his car and leaves. She tries to find another car to continue her little surveillance mission, and by pure coincidence, she runs into Fang. She immediately says, "You're going to meet Jin, right? I was just looking for a taxi to go to him. We're supposed to meet." She completely tricks Fang, and he takes her with him instead of letting her struggle alone with public transportation, thinking he's doing a good deed. At the same time, Jin has a boxing match. In these underground matches, there are always people betting money on the fighters, and the winner takes it all. Bing and Mo's father are both present at the match, but her father is cheering for Bing, the other fighter, one of his own men. There's clearly deep hostility between him and Jin, though no one knows the exact reason yet. As for Jin, we see that Lin, the car showroom owner, is the one betting on him. He's completely confident that Jin will win, so he sells the bet and places an enormous amount of money on the match. And the higher the bet goes, the harder the match becomes. Meanwhile, Jin is in the locker room warming up. He remembers the words of an unknown person, his face deliberately hidden to maintain suspense, who once told him that the On family had wronged him for years and that everything he's doing now is to reclaim what was taken from him. At that moment, Fang arrives with Mo, slipping money to the security guard so they let her in unnoticed. The moment she sees her brother in the ring, she can't believe her eyes. She desperately tries to convince Fang to pull Jin out immediately, even offering to pay the betting money herself, but things are never that simple. Inside the ring, Jin controls the match as best as he can, until suddenly Bing lands a brutal punch to his face, knocking him to the ground and leaving him unable to get up. Then Jin hears Mo's voice, calling his name, crying. Suddenly, energy floods back into him. He gets up and continues the fight, knowing they won't leave him alone unless Bing is the one who falls. When he finally reaches her, he jumps out of the ring, grabs her, and escapes quickly. He doesn't want her anywhere near a place like this. Kira explodes with anger. What is this forbidden romance happening right in front of her? She asks Fang who this girl is. When he tries to dodge the question to protect his friend, she slaps him across the face immediately. Meanwhile, Mo is crying uncontrollably. She never imagined he would do this to himself. Jin puts her into the car to take her home, unable to properly explain himself. She tells him she spent years waiting for the day they would reunite and that she now regrets it, because she should have understood that if he never contacted her all these years, then her existence clearly didn't matter to him. She tells him she's done. She's going to book a flight and travel to Canada with her mother. Suddenly, Bing blocks their car with his own. He grins maliciously, sliding his finger across his neck in a threatening gesture. But Jin doesn't react to childish intimidation. He realizes they're trying to force him into a car race. He hands Mo his phone and asks her to open the last saved location and guide him precisely. In an instant, the race begins. Cars speed after each other, engines roaring. Another car joins them midway. Mo understands nothing, panic consuming her. Jin calmly tells her, "After the next turn, I'll count to 5. Then you grab the steering wheel and keep it straight exactly like this." When he reaches 5, he climbs out the window, grabs a bag hanging from a wooden plank, and jumps off. He reaches the final point of the race where the entire crew is gathered, making him the winner. He tells the race leader that he never wanted to participate, that they forced him. The man gets angry, pointing out that he brought a stranger along, and these races are supposed to be secret because they're illegal. Jin casually replies, "Relax, she's my girlfriend." He takes the prize money and leaves with Mo, noticing the shock frozen on her face. She can't believe he's willing to risk his life for a handful of money, especially with all the accidents happening to innocent people on the road. She confronts him angrily, but he snaps back. Everyone is willing to do anything for money, especially someone who lived the life he did. When he first traveled with her father, they were dirt poor, living in a tiny room under the stairs. When it rained, water reached their bodies. Then things got even worse. They lost even that room and ended up sleeping under bridges. When things finally improved a little, when her father remarried, opened a restaurant, and had a daughter, they discovered the girl had a heart condition and urgently needed surgery. Jin had no choice but to quit school. This path was the only way he could get the money she talks about so easily, as if it were pocket change. She tells him all of that is in the past now, that she's willing to help him take control of his life, find honest work, and live properly. He asks her coldly, "And in what capacity are you helping? You even changed the family name to your stepfather's." She realizes he's hurt, deeply hurt, by her mother, who abandoned them without hesitation and never tried to contact them again. She suggests they live together again in their old house and build something new. But deep down, Jin knows it won't be that easy. When morning comes, he takes her to the hotel. Her mother has arrived personally to take her back. Mo tells her she's not going to Canada. She wants to continue studying at her old school. But her mother reveals she plans to sell her house in China and settle permanently in Canada with her husband. Mo is shocked by how much she trusts him. She warns her, "If he betrays you and throws you out, where will you go?" The man feels deeply insulted and quietly leaves them to resolve their family matters alone. When her mother learns that Jin was the one who brought her here, she gets furious. She believes he's a bad influence, living recklessly, and warns Mo repeatedly to stay away from him, especially since they're not actually siblings. In the middle of the argument, she reveals that Jin used to call her many times after leaving with her father, and that she was the one who told him to stay away from them. Mo is overwhelmed with guilt. All this time, she blamed him for never checking on her when her mother was the real reason. She tells her mother she's staying. She's not going to Canada. She's choosing to live with her father and Jin. She returns home, where her little sister finds her crying in her room. The girl quietly writes down the address of where Jin works and gives it to her. That evening, Mo goes there and discovers he owns a car repair workshop. When the clock strikes midnight, she smiles and says, "Happy birthday." Jin is thrown into a flashback, remembering when they used to celebrate Mo's birthday as children. Her mother once asked him when his birthday was. When he didn't know, she decided they would celebrate both birthdays on the same day every year. He takes Mo to buy a strawberry cake, the one she loves, along with candles. Out of curiosity, she asks, "So when is your real birthday exactly?" He tells her it doesn't matter, that her birthday is the only one that matters to him. The words anchor themselves deep in her heart. She wishes they could celebrate together every year. Drunk with excitement and alcohol, she starts rambling. She tells him she's worried about her mother, that her new husband might be a con man who could abandon her at any moment. Jin believes her mother is stronger than that and should be respected for her choices. He asks her quietly how she felt when she discovered he wasn't really her brother. The air between them tightens instantly. She changes the subject and asks if she can stay the night there. When he refuses, she plays on his sympathy, saying if she goes back now, no one will be awake. Their father will be drunk, his wife exhausted, and it's raining outside. Every sign points to her staying. She drinks too much and becomes ill. Jin stays by her side all night until she's better and finally falls asleep. He can't believe how fast she's grown. He remembers the first time her father brought him home, her mother pregnant with Mo, rejecting his presence because of their poverty. But when Mo grew up and bonded with him, her mother allowed him to stay. The next morning, when his friends arrive at the workshop, he tells them to keep their voices down. Someone is sleeping. They're stunned. No one has ever entered his room before, let alone slept there. When Mo wakes up, she finds he prepared breakfast himself. She begs him to let her live with him for a few days, but he refuses completely. Elsewhere, Lin pressures his assistant to find the person he's been searching for. During a mountain race, he once saw a black car pass him, its fluids and speed unmistakably extreme. His curiosity won't let it go. Later that day, Bing and his men storm into the workshop, clearly looking for trouble. Mo asks San if the blonde-haired man is the same one from the boxing match. He confirms it, and that he belongs to the On family. Jin once worked for them, and ever since he left and built his own place, they periodically come to wreck it. Mo watches from a distance until one of them goes too far, trying to smash a car they've been repairing all morning. She snaps, shouting that this place belongs to her family, and kicks him. The fight explodes, everyone against everyone. Mo pulls out her phone and calls the police. The gang retreats immediately. She's confused. Why didn't they call the police from the start? San explains that, as long as no one is dying, there's no need to escalate. Besides, Jin usually handles them quietly, but this time he lost control because they tried to get close to her. At the same time, Lin's assistant sends him a photo of San's car. It has a triple engine, identical to the black car from the mountain race. Lin becomes convinced that this driver might lead him to answers. He visits San's pet shop, asking about the mountain race and the black car. San immediately realizes this is about Jin. He dodges the questions as best he can. When Lin keeps pushing, San finally admits that he was the driver. Though Lin doesn't fully believe him, he challenges him to a mountain race. San agrees, then runs straight to tell Jin what happened. Jin tells him it's nothing, that he just passed him by coincidence, and takes him to the garage to show him the black car he was driving. At that moment, he tells him that the car is Japanese-made, explaining the difference between it and the other cars. He even hands him the same cap he was wearing that day, just to make the story more convincing. They start practicing a few driving maneuvers together, so everything looks believable on the day of the competition. The next day, Mo meets her friend Nana, the girl she met for the first time on the plane. She wants to show her the school she's thinking of enrolling in, since she's considering continuing her studies there. By pure coincidence, she notices Jin's photo hanging on the honor board, a board displaying pictures of students who excelled in knowledge competitions. Her heart fills with joy. This is exactly the image she always wished to see him in. Later that day, she stops by the workshop. When she finds Jin standing there smoking, she tells him very seriously that smoking is harmful to his health. She also informs him that from now on, she'll call him by his real name and won't treat him like a brother anymore. Because in her words, he doesn't deserve that title. Jin is clearly upset. He's not used to her treating him this way. Then she asks him to take her along while he goes to practice the driving techniques he learned. Jin is utterly confused by her mood swings. One moment she's sweet and clinging to him, the next she can't even stand to look at his face. He asks San if there's any logical explanation for this behavior. San, in true big brother fashion, advises him to just ignore it, because no one ever understands girls anyway. While she's alone with San, Mo takes the opportunity to ask him whether there's a woman in Jin's life. San tells her that the answer to that question lies in Jin's keychain medal. At the same time, Jin meets once again with the mysterious man whose face has been hidden since the beginning of the series. This time, the man sits beside him, his back turned, making sure no one notices they're talking. Jin tells him he plans to participate in the race and that he has 2 months to train. The problem is that the car needs major modifications. He then asks him when exactly he and his men are planning to return to the country. The man replies that everyone is waiting for news from him, and then he leaves. Later, when San tries to apply what Jin taught him, he completely messes it up. Seeing this, Mo asks him to let her try. She explains that she used to love watching her father drive and work on cars. She demonstrates the maneuver perfectly on the first try. Jin is shocked because the only image he ever had of her father was that of a constant drunk. She explains that her father used to be a completely different person, full of passion for cars and driving, until life crushed him. Smiling proudly, she says, "See, family genes." Later, Nana comes to take Mo with her to attend her cousin's birthday party. When they arrive, Mo is stunned by the sight. Luxury cars everywhere, all heavily modified for racing. She isn't particularly impressed, though. All she can think about is whether Jin has someone in his life or not. Nana suggests they play a small game on him to reveal his true feelings. She proposes sending him a photo of Mo with another guy just to see his reaction. And of course, there's no better candidate than Nana's cousin. Ironically, that cousin turns out to be Lin. When Lin arrives, Nana positions Mo beside him and snaps a quick photo without anyone noticing. She explains the next steps. Send the photo along with the location, then follow it with a message saying, "Sorry, this was sent here by mistake," and immediately turn off the phone. The moment Jin sees the photo, he jumps into his car and drives straight to the location to find out what she's doing. At the party, Mo wanders around and suddenly one of Jin's enemies approaches her. He asks whether she's really his sister or if Jin is just lying. He offers to give her more information about Jin, but first she has to drink with him. He hands her a special glass. Curiosity gets the better of her and she drinks. From a distance, Lin notices her starting to sway, unable to stand steadily. He rushes over immediately, realizing that something was added to her drink. He takes her to his office so she can rest until his cousin comes to help. Suddenly, Jin storms in and shoves Lin violently, trying to pull him away from her. The two start fighting fiercely until Mo wakes up and tells Jin that Lin has nothing to do with this, that he was only helping her. That's when Jin notices her neck. It's completely red. The juice she drank contained peaches, and she's allergic to them. He immediately takes her to the hospital. Before leaving, he tells Lin that he'll compensate him for ruining his birthday. At the hospital, the doctor reassures them that she's fine, but she needs to stay for 1 day under observation. Mo feels guilty and apologizes for going to a place like that without telling him. She keeps wondering, why hasn't he asked about the photo? Finally, she can't hold it in anymore. She asks him directly whether there's someone in his life, because if there is, his staying with her in the hospital could cause problems. He reassures her that there's no one else in his life and that he has no intention of thinking about relationships right now. Her heart leaps with joy. She finally gets the answer she's been waiting for. After she's discharged, she starts pressuring him again to take her back to his place. She uses the same emotional tactics, how lonely she is, how no one took care of her when she was sick. He gives in and takes her with him. But in reality, she has another motive. She wants to find his keychain medal, just like San told her. She turns the entire room upside down but finds nothing. Later, she goes with Nana to school to ask about enrollment procedures. There's just one problem. She has to enroll in a language course first. Nana solves the issue instantly, explaining that her family owns a language institute. She takes Mo there to register. When Mo returns home, she finds the gate locked from the outside. She assumes Jin did it on purpose so she'd go stay at the other house. But when she gets there, the door's locked too. No one answers. She calls her father's wife, who tells her she traveled to the village with her daughter and won't be back for 2 days. She then finds her father asleep on the street next to a trash bin, completely drunk. She tries to wake him up so they can go home, but he refuses. The electricity is out anyway, and without air conditioning, there's no point in going back. She covers him with a cloth and sits beside him, waiting. By pure luck, Jin passes by and sees them. He understands immediately and jokes that she's clearly planning to spend the night on the street with her father. He takes them home and fixes the electricity so she can stay inside. He tells her he's traveling for a few days to get parts he needs. She tells him she's decided to stay here and has already started the school application process. He's genuinely happy. He asks her if she's really sure. Won't she change her mind in a month and decide to go to Canada after all? She reassures him that this is her final decision. She wants to stay with him. After that, Jin searches everywhere for the spare parts he needs for his car, but can't find them anywhere. He realizes there's no choice but to make them himself. When race day arrives, he wins and advances to the top ranks, officially becoming part of the team. He calls his mysterious partner to reassure him that everything is going exactly according to plan. The next day, Mo goes with Nana to Lin's car showroom. She's amazed by the cars and starts taking photos from every angle. When Lin sees them on the surveillance cameras, he calls his cousin to discreetly take Nana away so he can talk to Mo alone. He asks her who pushed her toward him, accusing her of trying to get close to his cousin just to reach him. Mo is stunned by his confidence. She doesn't even know who he is. She tells him she's only there out of curiosity about cars, and honestly, the cars there aren't even that impressive. Lin feels insulted. She can criticize him, but not his family. He offers to take her for a ride in his car to prove it's not ordinary. She agrees. The car caught her attention anyway. During the ride, she asks about every detail of the car, mentioning that she has a friend who loves cars just as passionately. He plays along and drops her home. At that moment, her father's wife sees them together and immediately calls Jin, telling him that his sister seems to be in a relationship and that he should get close to her and make sure she isn't being fooled. Jin is furious. He takes Mo out for a walk and tells her a story from school about a couple where the boy used the girl to show off to his friends, sharing private details about their relationship. When the girl found out, she became depressed and jumped off a building. Mo feels he's exaggerating. Not all relationships end that tragically. When they return to the workshop, they find his friends are already gathered at the workshop, waiting for them so they can eat together. Mo goes inside to wash her hands, and suddenly she finds Kira standing right in front of her. She looks at her and asks bluntly, "So, you're the green snake everyone keeps talking about?" Kira smirks and fires back immediately. "And you must be the little sister who was at the boxing match." The tension between them rises instantly, almost turning into a fight, but Jin arrives at the perfect moment and shuts everything down before it escalates. When they all sit down to eat, it's painfully obvious that Kira is extremely jealous, especially of the way everyone treats Mo. And when Jin starts breaking food into pieces for Mo right in front of everyone, Kira's jealousy boils over. She keeps trying to get closer to Jin, trying to prove to herself more than anyone that he treats her kindly too. Finally, Jin snaps. He slams his fork into the table, making it clear he can't stand her and wants her to back off. At that point, Mo grabs her plate and runs to her room, pretending she's studying so he won't ask her to leave. She waits until San comes in to check on her, then asks him directly if Jin has feelings for Kira. San reassures her that this relationship is impossible. Kira is the daughter of the On Gang's leader. Later, Mo steps out to check on the atmosphere. She finds Jin and Kira standing alone, talking. She hides behind a car to listen, but Jin notices her and subtly gestures for her to leave. He then tells her not to come to the workshop anymore and asks what she's really doing there. She makes excuses, saying she was just cleaning the car and that she can't go back home anyway because the air conditioner is broken and the heat is unbearable. She runs to her room and locks the door. The next morning, she oversleeps and is late for the academy. She drops hints, hoping Jin will take pity on her and give her a ride. After some resistance, he agrees. Before she gets out of the car, he hands her breakfast. In return, she gives him an invitation from the school for the parents' meeting. He's genuinely happy, touched that she sees him as her family. Meanwhile, Lin is still searching for the owner of the black car. He stops by Mo's father's restaurant, remembering that she once mentioned she had a friend who loved cars just like him. When he sees Jin helping out at the restaurant, he immediately realizes that this must be the person he's been looking for. The next day, Jin gives Mo the school shirt he used to wear. All his friends are shocked. He treats that shirt like a historical artifact, something that should never be given to anyone. When Mo wears it to school, even her classmates are surprised. They ask her where she got it. The school logo on it is embroidered in gold, and only the top students ever receive that shirt. She finally understands why he held onto it so tightly. After school, she goes to sit with San at his shop. By coincidence, she notices a poor-looking dog. San tells her its story, that its mother abandoned it right after birth, that he found it on the street and took it in out of pity. He suggests that if she likes it that much, she could take it and raise it at Jin's place. She knows Jin will never agree, but she decides to try anyway. Maybe some hidden humanity inside him will wake up. As expected, he refuses, saying she'll leave soon anyway and abandon the dog. His words make her furious. She realizes he's treating her the same way, keeping his distance because he's afraid she'll abandon him too. She storms off. Overcome with guilt, Jin goes back to San and takes the dog to give it to her. The next day, when Mo returns from school and sees the dog, she's overjoyed. She rushes to thank him for finally agreeing. Later, she takes her driving license test and passes. Nana tells her that this is the perfect time to start seriously training with cars, too. When the day of the mountain race between Lin and San arrives, Mo goes early to watch everything from the beginning. When Lin sees her, he strikes up a conversation, prepares juice for her himself, and offers to drive her up the mountain since San hasn't arrived yet and the road is long. She agrees, focused on his car. He answers all her questions about racing and cars, completely engaging with her. It's San's first time ever entering a mountain race. He struggles with the road but reaches on time. Mo half-jokingly suggests he withdraw from the race before he embarrasses himself, but his overconfidence takes over. He rolls up the window and gets into the mood. The moment he starts, he accidentally veers left. Lin immediately stops, gets out, and says, "That's enough." He's figured out who the owner of the black car is. He takes Jin's cap from San, intending to return it to him personally. On the way back down the mountain, Mo asks to drive, explaining that descending is much harder than climbing. When they reach the bottom, Lin is waiting for them, shocked to learn she completed the descent in just 23 minutes. Later, Mo tells San he needs to change his look, cut his hair that's covering half his face and update his style, or no woman will ever look at him. The next day, when she goes to the workshop, she barely recognizes him. He's done everything she suggested. She spends 10 minutes openly admiring him, praising his new look until Jin can't take it anymore. Consumed by jealousy, Jin calls her over and demands to know why she comes to the workshop every day, why she keeps trying to get close to him, especially when she knows they're not really siblings anymore. He asks her outright if she's doing all this because she wants something between them. She panics at his directness, shoves him away, and leaves. Later that day, Lin goes to the restaurant again to see Jin. He hands him his cab back, now fully certain that Jin is the owner of the black car. He invites him to race together, but Jin makes it clear he has no interest in childish competitions and walks away. His only focus now is placing among the top 3 in the race he's already entered. That's how they'll uncover the information they're searching for. Since he lacks certain skills, he turns to his father for advice. His father explains that he must master every part of the car until his hands move instinctively. Jin takes advantage of this and starts doing delivery work at his father's restaurant using the black car, learning exactly what needs adjustment. Whenever something goes wrong, he fixes it with his father's help. Meanwhile, Mo distances herself from him, unable to understand what he meant by his words. On her first day at school, a guy named Kai suddenly sticks to her without any introduction, trying all day to start conversations. She eventually hides in the bathroom to escape him, then climbs out the window, knowing he'll be waiting outside. That's when she sees Jin with a suspicious-looking man, taking a bag from him and handing over an envelope of money. She wonders if it's something illegal. Before she can confront him, Kai appears again. She snaps at him, asking how he found her, then leaves. She asks Jin if he came to pick her up, and he takes her along. In the middle of the drive, he casually asks who the guy was that kept standing next to her, his jealousy obvious. The next day, she goes to the workshop again. San welcomes her back warmly, but she quickly gets upset again and leaves. That evening, Jin sits alone, sketching her, replaying every memory they've shared since she arrived. He finally becomes certain of his feelings for her, but still doesn't know when he'll confess. At the same time, Lin keeps circling endlessly, searching for any way to convince Jin to race with him. He learns from one of his friends that Jin is searching for specific car parts but can't find them anywhere. Meanwhile, Mo practices driving San's car but still feels something is missing. Nana suggests bringing someone to help, and of course, there's no better choice than her cousin. He shows up immediately, convinced that Mo is the only way to reach Jin. He spends the entire day with her in his car, doing everything she asks, secretly taking photos with her the whole time. The next day, Jin goes to Mo's school for the parents' meeting, just like she asked. When she sees that he actually came for her, she's overjoyed and jokes that he looks too young to be her guardian. On the way back, it starts raining heavily. He walks her all the way home and makes her a hot drink. She asks him to tell her about their childhood memories. She was too young to remember most of them, and about the real reason her parents divorced. He tells her that they used to fight constantly. They were always different, constantly clashing. But the real problem that ultimately caused her parents' separation was this. After one of their fights, her father broke the plant her mother loved the most. To him, it was nothing, just a plant, not a big deal at all. He didn't even try to apologize for what he'd done. When Mo hears this, she asks Jin when he plans to think about marriage. The question feels strange to him. He's never thought about marriage at all. He quietly leaves so she can sleep comfortably while his mind keeps circling the same thought. He's spent all these years thinking about her, wondering how much she'd changed. What he never expected was how deeply his own feelings toward her would change. Later, Lin is at his showroom when he receives a message from Jin asking to meet. Lin realizes this is because of the photo he sent with Mo, and he feels the plan is working perfectly. When they meet, it's obvious Jin is angry. He warns Lin to stay away from her. Lin calmly tells him she isn't his interest at all. His focus is entirely on Jin. He proposes a race. If Lin wins, he promises never to appear in front of Mo again. He hands Jin a headset so they can talk during the race. Jin agrees and asks if there are any other rules he wants to add before they start. During the race, Lin is stunned by Jin's driving, by his control, his instincts, and the sheer number of modifications he notices in the car. He keeps asking questions, fascinated. In the end, of course, Jin wins. Lin then invites him to travel with the team to France to participate in a competition the following month. Jin refuses. He isn't interested. He removes the headset and walks away before Lin can pressure him further. After that, Jin goes to meet Mo. He finds her standing in the street with a group, waiting for him, singing him a romantic song, a soft, indirect confession. When she finishes, he takes her with him, and they go sit by the sea. She wants to see the stars. She asks him how he celebrated New Year's Eve all these years, but he honestly doesn't remember. He never cared about occasions like that. He promises her that this year, he'll celebrate with her. The next day at school, Mo goes to the man she saw with Jin, the one who handed him the bag and took money, to ask what exactly he gave him. He explains that it was nothing dangerous at all, just drawings and internal designs of the car, taken from his brother, who is a mechanical engineer. She finally feels relieved. The day after that, one of her classmates tells her something new. Now she understands why everyone used to call her brother Tochi. Back in school, he constantly entered illegal races. The nickname came from his insane speed. No one could ever beat him. What's strange is that his car was suddenly confiscated, and he completely disappeared from the scene just 2 months before university exams, even though he was always one of the top students. Mo feels heavy inside. His life was so hard, and still she feels there's one missing piece in the middle of everything. She sends him a message, just a photo of her water bottle, trying to start a conversation. When he zooms in, he sees the reflection of her classmate on the bottle. He gets furious. The guy is stuck to her like glue. When she leaves school, Jin is waiting to drive her home. When he sees that same guy walking with her again, he gives him a sharp, sideways look, and the guy backs off immediately. Later, Mo is with Nana, preparing for the school celebration, when Kira suddenly appears and asks to talk. Sensing Mo's nervousness, Kira says coldly, "It's strange that Jin would like someone this week." Mo snaps, realizing the insult is deliberate. Still, she agrees to go with her and firmly tells Nana not to tell Jin where she's going, even if he asks. She's not a child, she can handle her own problems. But Kira doesn't intend harm. She takes Mo to a cafe and tells her how she first met Jin. He started working at their workshop while he was still studying. One day, she passed by and saw him working. She was immediately impressed. She'd never seen someone work with such honesty and discipline. He treated everything academically, always surrounded by books and notes, studying every detail of the car. She tried many times to get closer to him, but he kept everything strictly professional. Then they learned about his sister's illness, that she needed an urgent, extremely expensive heart surgery. At the time, most people in the field bought used cars, rebuilt them, added good parts, and sold them for triple the price. Jin decided to do the same. It was the only option he had. He bought a car and rebuilt it from scratch, adjusting every single part until he sold it for a decent amount and managed to pay for the surgery. He thought he could finally leave the workshops, work independently, and focus on his studies and exams. But everything collapsed in a moment. The man who bought the car had a terrible accident and lost his leg. When the police investigated, they claimed the cause was faulty modification. The victim's family sued Jin for compensation. He was forced to return to the workshop to earn money and pay it himself. Kira tried to help. She even sold her own car to give him the money, but he refused completely. After he finished paying the compensation, he stayed at the workshop to learn more. His skills kept improving day by day. Then he discovered the truth. The accident wasn't caused by his modifications at all. The real culprit sabotaged the car on purpose when he realized Jin was planning to leave and work independently. That betrayal is why Jin left and opened his own workshop. By this point, Mo is crying uncontrollably. She's heartbroken that he went through all of this alone, that he was wronged again and again. Just then, Jin arrives and finds her crying, half asleep from drinking too much with Kira. He takes her home so she can rest. Later, Bing goes to help Kira, and she grabs his hand, confessing her love to him. He almost rejoices. He's loved her secretly for years, but then she messes it all up by calling him Jin. His heart shatters. He knew the truth all along. After that, Jin sits with San and tells him that Kira has probably told Mo everything. San asks him when he plans to finally face his feelings, because everyone can already see them. When Chinese New Year arrives, Mo goes to the workshop to celebrate with Jin and his friends. When he notices her hands are cold, he takes them and slips them into his pocket to warm them. But something much better happens. She finally finds the medal she's been searching for all this time. Engraved on it are words saying that she misses him day and night. She finally understands the riddle. His name means day, and her name means night. If you're still here, I truly appreciate you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It takes a lot of time to prepare these recaps, and your support means everything. Now, let's continue the story. She spends the rest of the night glowing with happiness because she never expected that he loved her the same way she loved him. Quietly, she shows the medal to San, whispering as if she's sharing a secret, telling him that now she finally understands everything. When the clock strikes midnight and the new year begins, they start handing out New Year envelopes as part of the celebration. After they finish, Mo seizes the opportunity. She takes the medal from his keys and tells him softly, "Now, it's yours completely. You won't miss me anymore, because I'm going to stay with you forever." When she sees him agree, she pushes her luck even further. She tells him she wants him to carry her on his back all the way home, just like he used to when they were little. And while they're at it, maybe he can tell her a bedtime story so they can relive all their memories together. The next morning, when she wakes up, she calls him immediately, excited and breathless, telling him she has a surprise for him. But he tells her that actually he's the one with the surprise. He's been standing in front of her house for almost an hour. She hurries to get ready and rushes outside so he won't be left waiting. He takes her to an empty road. She wants to show him what she learned with the car. Not only that, she draws a heart on the ground with the tires. He's deeply touched. She learned all of this just for him. He asks gently who taught her these beautiful tricks, but she refuses to go into details, only saying that someone special helped her. He doesn't push it. Instead, he tells her to get in. He'll draw a heart for her too, a heart facing another heart, a shared confession without a single word. Afterward, he takes her to meet San so they can attend the New Year festival together. By coincidence, they pass a tree full of hanging wishes. San teases her, saying the wishes that usually come true are the ones written by people in love. She feels this is the perfect chance. So she writes her wish, hangs it, then stands there for a while, as if staring at it will make it come true faster. Later, while they're walking through the crowd, she quietly slips her hand into Jin's. She claims it's because the place is crowded and they might lose each other, and she doesn't want the day to turn sad for no reason. On the outside, he stays silent, but inside, he's bursting with happiness. She isn't hiding her feelings anymore. Then trouble appears. They come face to face with Kira, her father, and their men. Since the street is empty, it's the perfect moment for a confrontation. Ever since they learned Jin entered the race and qualified for the finals, they've wanted to force him to withdraw. If he wins, he'll be on the same level as Kira's father, and no one will be able to challenge him. Kira's father notices Mo and how close Jin is to her. He tells him that if he plans to love someone other than his daughter, then from now on, he'll treat him like a stranger. But Jin doesn't care. He deliberately holds Mo's hand tighter in front of them, his final answer. At the same time, he's afraid she might start questioning his feelings, so he chooses not to hide anymore. Kira's father gives the signal for his men to attack, but luckily San arrives just in time, and he's brought tourists with him. They're not about to start a brawl in front of outsiders. That night, jealousy eats away at. She's furious, hitting random things just to vent. Bing steps in to calm her down, but she ends up hitting him too. He lets her take it all out, then takes her to clean her wounded hands. When he finishes, she looks at him and says gently, without hesitation, "Don't try. You'll never be able to take his place in my heart." She walks away, leaving him standing there, shattered. He goes straight to Jin to confront him and pour everything out. But Jin has had enough. He stops him cold and says, "I finally have someone I want to protect. Don't drag me into pointless trouble anymore." The next morning, Mo wakes up looking completely messy and walks out casually to ask what's for breakfast, only to find Jin standing right in front of her. Embarrassed, she runs back to her room, throws on whatever clothes are hanging nearby, puts on way too much makeup, then calmly joins them as if nothing happened. He quietly laughs to himself, not wanting to embarrass her. Later, at the workshop, Jin receives a mysterious delivery. When he opens it, he finds the exact car part he's been searching for. He immediately realizes this must be Lin's doing, but he refuses to accept it. He doesn't want to owe anyone favors. He installs the piece he made himself and takes the car out for a test drive, but it overheats and starts smoking, so he goes to his father's restaurant for advice. His father solves the problem instantly, but in return, he makes Jin deliver an order for him. When Jin arrives at the address, he discovers the customer is Lin. Lin thanks him for the car part and tells him he didn't accept it because he doesn't need it anymore. Later that night, Mo is upset. It's been more than 2 days without hearing from him. She sends him a message, worried, but he's busy racing. This time, he wins, first place. The moment he sees her message, he races home just to see her before she goes to school. But when he finally arrives, she greets him with a cold expression, offended that he ignored her before they were even officially together. He waits for her to finish school, then takes her to the market to buy groceries. He insists on cooking for her himself. She notices a man in a cap standing across the way and asks, "Isn't that the same guy who was at the workshop and left when I arrived?" He's impressed by her memory, but pretends he doesn't know who she means. When they return home, she pulls up an online recipe and tries cooking for everyone, but stands frozen, not knowing where to start. Jin quietly takes over, doing everything himself, then pretends she cooked, just to protect her pride. That night, they all gather on Fang's rooftop for a barbecue. In the middle of the evening, Jin slips away to answer an important call. Mo, tipsy, follows him to tell him she passed her training course and only needs to choose a university now. His face tightens. If studying in Canada is better for her future, he thinks, then maybe she should go. She feels like he doesn't care about keeping her close. Hurt and drunk, she suddenly leans toward him, closing the distance. But when San calls them back because the food is ready, she panics at what she almost did and quickly returns to the group. San assumes Jin upset her, so he tries to make conversation to lighten the mood. Jin quietly sits beside her, takes her hand under the table so no one sees, and finally she relaxes. After they finish, he walks her home. He tells her they shouldn't talk until she sobers up. "Tomorrow," he says. "We'll talk tomorrow." The next morning, the memories flood back, and she wishes the ground would swallow her whole from embarrassment. She goes to the workshop like he asked, but he isn't there. He texts her that he'll be late, so she waits the whole day. When he finally returns, he tells her gently, "If you feel even a little regret, we can forget everything that happened and just stay the way we are." But she assures him she isn't regretful, just afraid they moved too fast. And for the first time, Jin smiles, a real soft smile, because he's truly happy. He gives her the necklace he's been keeping for years, the one he planned to give to the girl he would spend his life with. When she returns home, she receives a message from him asking her to come out onto the balcony. He has a surprise. She steps outside and sees the trunk of his car filled with balloons, so many of them. And when he opens it, they float up into the sky right in front of her. It was the biggest wish she'd always dreamed of as a child, but they never had the chance back then because life had pulled each of them far away. Now, it finally comes true. They both take advantage of the fact that the house is empty. Her father and his wife went out, so they sit together freely, cooking and laughing without anyone suspecting anything. But suddenly the front door opens. They came back too early. The moment Mo hears their voices, she grabs Jin and runs into the room to hide. He tries to reassure her, telling her calmly that even if they see them sitting together, no one would ever suspect anything. To prove it, he walks out casually, and indeed everything seems normal. Her stepmother simply says, "Well, since you're here, sit and eat with us." Only the little sister is suspicious. She keeps staring, sensing that something is happening between them. While they're eating, she asks innocently, Mo, did you used to like Jin? I saw you crying in your room because of him. Mo freezes, embarrassed, desperately trying to change the subject. She suggests they all go to the beach together afterward to enjoy the day. Later that night, Mo goes out with Nana to walk and buy a few things. Suddenly, she spots Jin sitting in a restaurant with another woman, his hand resting on her shoulder. When he sees Mo, he pretends not to notice and keeps acting normally. Mo feels like the ground disappears beneath her feet. Just 2 days ago, he promised her he'd never do anything that would hurt her, never do anything that would push her away. She turns and leaves quickly. He realizes things just went terribly wrong and stands up to follow her. But then the man in the cap appears, bumps into him by accident, and whispers through his actions, "Stay put, don't ruin the plan." Mo wanders through the streets, crying uncontrollably, reliving every memory since the day she arrived. When Jin finishes his meeting, he goes to see the same mysterious man again and hands over all the information he's gathered. The man says, "It looks like your life has changed. So are you still with us or are you thinking of backing out?" Jin answers firmly. He won't leave until their goal is achieved. Later, he waits for Mo outside. When she finally sees him, her anger explodes. She hits him with her bag, crying bitterly. He tries to calm her down, telling her things aren't what she thinks. But right now, he can't explain anything. In the middle of the argument, her stepmother appears, watching silently, surprised. "When did this start between you two?" Back at home, Mo continues crying, then goes to speak privately with her stepmother. She begs her not to tell her father. He would never accept this relationship. Her stepmother worries deeply. She warns Mo that if her mother ever finds out, everything will explode. She explains that she wants to see Jin happy too. But this relationship will only bring endless problems. Mo answers through tears. "I traveled here for him. I stayed here for him. I chose my studies here because of him. My feelings won't change." Her stepmother finally decides to respect her choice, pretending she saw nothing. Meanwhile, Jin tells San what happened. San gets furious. Jin should have explained instead of torturing her with confusion. But Jin insists he's doing all of this for her own good. San snaps. "For her good or for yourself?" He storms out. That night, Mo arrives at the workshop and finds Kira waiting. Kira came specifically because Mo is the only one who can convince Jin to withdraw from the alliance race. If he continues, he'll be dragged into endless trouble, and there's no guarantee he'll even come out alive. Mo only cares about one thing, whether Jin's life is in danger. She tries to ask careful questions about the prize, who funds the race, and why the reward is so high. Realizing Mo is fishing for answers, Jin gives vague reassurances, promising that after this last race, everything will end. Then Jin goes to apologize to San. He realizes San was right. He handled it badly. San tells him, "My father used to act the same way with my mother. He thought he knew best. He never explained anything. She spent her whole life afraid for him. Don't do that to Mo. She doesn't deserve it." Jin finally promises. He'll tell her everything soon. The next day, Mo returns to the workshop and finds Kira again, waiting for updates. Mo reassures her. This will be his last race. But Kira explodes because the danger lies in this race specifically. Suddenly, they hear Jin shouting in anger. Someone broke into the workshop and destroyed the car he was going to race with. It's obvious who did it, Kira's father. Kira insists she had nothing to do with it. She just wanted to keep him safe. But Jin harshly pushes her away, throwing her out. She leaves with tears burning in her eyes. "If I see you dying right in front of me, I won't help you." She walks away broken. Jin asks San to drive Mo home, but when she refuses to move, Jin walks over himself and reassures her that everything will be fine. Later at the market, Mo spots the man with the cap. She follows him nervously until he suddenly turns and says, "Is there something you want?" She panics and runs away. That evening, Mo waits for Jin at the workshop. When he finally arrives, he looks at her with a serious, knowing expression. She realizes he found out she'd been following that man, so he finally sits down and tells her everything. It started the day he discovered that Kira's father tampered with the brakes of the car Jin had rebuilt. That betrayal is why he left them, stopped racing, and opened his own workshop. Later, a police officer contacted him, the same man in the cap. These illegal races are being used to smuggle contraband, and the winners of the Alliance race are chosen to transport the shipments. They pick drivers who live recklessly, who don't care about anything but money. No one suspects anything, and the police have never been able to get inside. So they turn to Jin. If he enters, everyone will assume it's because of his conflict with Kira's father. No one would suspect the truth. He agreed because he wants to clear his name from the car accident case. He wants to prove he was innocent once and for all, so he can finally feel worthy of being with her. Mo decides to trust him. Not only trust, she decides to help. She remembers that her classmate's father owns a car repair factory. She takes Jin there, and by chance, they already know each other. The man kindly lets Jin use the workshop every 2 days to rebuild the damaged car. Mo spends her days bringing food, cheering him on, encouraging him, and when the car is finally ready, Jin lets Mo be the first person to ride in it. She's bursting with joy. She suggests they return to China someday, live in their old house, open a restaurant, and build a simple life together. He asks her to wait until after the race. The next day, Jin goes to see San at his shop, but two men suddenly force San into their car. Jin follows, blocks their path, and fights them off. It turns out, as usual, it was another gambling debt problem with San's father. Jin remembers something. Back in school, the exact same thing happened. Two men cornered San's father in front of the school. Jin grabbed San's hand and ran. That day began their friendship. San gathers every bit of money he has, planning to pay the debt they had San's father held hostage. And by coincidence, Jin was already on his way to the shop to give San some money as well. But by the time he arrived, San was gone. So Jin immediately calls the officer, the same officer who has been guiding him all along, and asks for help. They manage to arrive just in time before San and his father are beaten. On the morning of the race, Lin shows up with a safety suit, a gift, so Jin can wear it while driving. Jin thanks him sincerely. Lin always thinks about him, always tries to help. Meanwhile, Mo is terrified. She calls Jin, telling him she'll be waiting, and if he breaks his promise or comes back late, she will be truly angry. She spends the entire day at the workshop with San, waiting, hoping, imagining the moment he returns as the winner. But instead, a man named Kim walks in. He's from the officer's team. He tells her, "Come with me. Jin is in serious danger. They might have tampered with his car. Only you can reach him." He drops her halfway to the race area and explains exactly how to get inside. No one but her will be allowed to pass. She runs, breathless, pushing through the dust and the noise, until suddenly San appears with his car and drives her the rest of the way. But when they arrive, Kira and her father's men block the road, refusing to let them pass. Mo begs desperately, pleading with Kira, "If I don't reach him, something terrible could happen. Please, let me through." Kira looks at her coldly and says, "If you love him that much, then kneel. Kneel so I can feel your emotions." Without hesitation, Mo drops to her knees. Only then does Kira let her pass, but it's too late. The race has already started. Suddenly, Jin realizes the brakes aren't working. The car spirals out of control. Mo watches the nightmare unfold right before her eyes as the car crashes, flips, and bursts into flames. The world goes silent. Her vision fades. When she wakes up, she's back at the workshop. San tells her there's still no news. She collapses again into tears, wanting to run out and search for him herself. But San holds her back, afraid something else will happen to her. The waiting becomes torture. By the next day, she can't stand it anymore. She goes out asking everyone if they know how to reach the officer. When she finally gets his number, he reassures her. He's alive, but he's in surgery. The accident was severe. I can't tell you where we are right now, but I'll keep you updated. A small spark of relief returns. At that moment, her stepfather calls. He has returned from Canada specifically to see her. He explains that her mother is ill. They moved there for her treatment. And she misses Mo terribly, constantly looking at her photos. Mo apologizes, realizing she misjudged him. She struggles between staying for Jin or returning to her mother, but Jin refuses to see her. He won't answer messages. He doesn't want her to see him like this, so she makes her decision. She goes back to her mother, enrolls in a university there, Isandiar, and keeps sending Jin messages, telling him about her life. He reads them. He never replies. The accident damaged his spine. He needs long rehabilitation just to stand again. Amid all the pain, one good thing happens. The officer tells him they finally arrested those running the alliance races. Bing confessed everything out of guilt. They also arrest Kira's father, so he was the one who sabotaged Jin's car. Jin is relieved. His suffering wasn't in vain and his innocence is proven. But because he fears Mo might tie her whole life to him, he sends her a message. He plans to leave, travel somewhere new, figure out what to do. He will change his number. When he settles, he'll contact her. Then he asks San to cancel his number and get him a new one. A year passes, his condition improves. He's able to stand again. He closes his workshop and returns to China to finish his studies. At the same time, Mo visits her father, asking if there's any news about Jin. Everyone repeats the same story. He left, he never called. He has his own life now, don't get involved. Mo feels crushed. She goes to the empty workshop, remembering everything, and when she calls San, he gives the same line, like a recorded message, even joking that she should just find a foreign boyfriend in Canada. 3 years pass. We see Mo celebrating New Year's in Canada with her uncle. She's older now, calmer, more mature, but still unable to move on. Whenever someone tries to get close, she pulls away. Every chance for love dissolves, because every time she thinks of Jin. When she finally reaches graduation, she runs into Han, an old classmate. Since she studies astronomy, he invites her to work with him at the Chinese Academy of Sciences as a research assistant. She gets excited, but she still hesitates about leaving Canada. He invites her to meet his colleagues, who are visiting for a few days. During their conversation, the supervisor notices her necklace. He tells her that in ancient times, the stone symbolized longing and eternal love. Rare, precious. She flashes back to the day Jin placed it around her neck and feels like it's a sign. She decides to return to China. She visits her father first, checking on him, asking again about Jin. He repeats the same carefully rehearsed lie. She senses it, but she keeps quiet. Then she visits the classmate whose father owns the car factory. He proudly tells her he now runs the business. Then by accident, he mentions, "By the way, I saw Jin recently. The factory needed cheap parts. He called me, brought everything we needed, said it was to repay the favor from the race." Mo is devastated. Her father lied. Jin kept his promise to everyone but her. She asks for Jin's number. Later, she debates texting him, then realizes if everyone lied, maybe Jin doesn't want contact. So she decides she will move forward. When she arrives in China, Han takes her to a cafe to discuss work. Their conversation turns to dreams, and she tells him, "One day, I want to open a cafe called Moon by the roadside with sycamore trees everywhere, so when autumn comes, their scent fills the air. But I can't do that yet. Other things matter first." Later, she visits the realtor to buy her old family house, but someone powerful from Beijing already bought it and refuses to sell. She insists he try again, or at least arrange a meeting. While walking afterward, she sees a dog that looks exactly like the one she used to raise in the workshop. Flashbacks return. The time San told her the dog disappeared. She cried all day beside the empty spot, and now here it is, like running to her, playful, full of life. Then Han calls her again. "Remember that cafe you dreamed about? Someone opened one. Same name, same concept." Her heart stops. She asks for the address. When she arrives, everything is exactly as she imagined. Every corner, every detail. It's Jin. Even the dog is there, and meaning it was never lost. He had taken care of it all along. She asks one of the employees for the owner's number, but the girl refuses. Too many women come asking every day. If she wants, she can just leave her name on the list. Mo leaves her name, but on her own page, and leaves behind the pen Jin once gave her. Later, she checks the cafe's page online and freezes when she reads a comment. He's married, and he has children. She wonders, did she come back too late? A few days later, she returns to ask about the pen, pretending she forgot it. The employee tells her, "The owner took it. Come back tomorrow. You can get it from him." Her plan worked. The next day, she dresses beautifully and goes to meet him. The moment she sees him, her eyes fill with tears. After all these years, fate brings them face to face again. She takes the pen and acts cold, intentionally provoking him. She lies, telling him she's engaged, almost married, and he must attend the wedding and bring money as a gift. When she's sure her words have hit him, she hands him her phone so he can enter his number. Then she leaves and bursts into tears the moment she reaches home. And that's when she remembers. The moment she entered university specializing in astronomy, she had chosen astronomy because Jin once told her it was his dream to keep studying, to keep going. She realized then that Jin opened the cafe not just as a business, but as a way of returning that gesture, fulfilling her dream too. But now Mo feels frustrated. Every time she tries to reconnect with him, to bring back the warmth they once shared, he replies briefly, coldly. She feels like she's the only one who ever suffered from his absence. She decides to provoke him, and suddenly inspiration comes from the sky, literally. Han calls, telling her he postponed his trip because he has a friend's wedding to attend. Instantly, Mo sees her opportunity. She takes the bride and groom's picture from the invitation, edits it, replaces the bride's face with her own, and sends it to Jin, pretending she's the one getting married. Jin stares at the picture, stunned. Everything seems too sudden, too fast. He's preparing himself to politely decline attending, because how could he stand in the wedding hall listening to vows that don't involve him? But Mo doesn't give him time. She messages again, saying none of her family can attend because they're all abroad, and that her only brother must be there. He believes her. He buys a wedding gift and goes. And there, he receives the shock of his life when he sees the real bride's picture. Then Mo calls him. "So, the fact that I didn't get married, is that good news or bad?" She continues teasing him, saying she only postponed it because her boyfriend had some work issues. Later, she visits his cafe because he's traveling and takes the dog home with her just to provoke him further. She texts him the exact address, expecting him to rush over immediately. But Jin refuses to come upstairs. He asks her to meet him outside. The moment she sees him again, she realizes, despite everything, despite the years, she still hasn't moved on. But that doesn't mean she won't torture him a little. She asks, "Why didn't you come up? Are you afraid my boyfriend might be inside?" He says nothing. He still can't tell whether she's joking or serious. He only wants reassurance that she's with someone who treats her well. So she pushes further, telling him she and her boyfriend argued recently because he refused to buy her a new phone, spending money on video games instead. Jin finally loses patience. He tells her to stop this ridiculous game. It's making it impossible for him to act normally around her. Days pass. He still doesn't reply much. So Mo goes to the cafe and asks the employee directly, "Is Jin really married, or is that just talk?" The employee confirms it. Not only married, he even has a child. Mo asks for his home address, determined to face the truth herself. When she arrives, a woman opens the door and says casually, "You're here for Jin, right? Come in." She moves around the house like she owns it, comfortable, confident, even telling Mo to relax while she goes to shower. Mo's heart sinks. This must be his wife. She finally asks directly, "What's your relationship with Jin?" The woman laughs softly, confused, and then explains she's 20 years older than Jin. She's the physical therapist responsible for his rehabilitation. She shows Mo the room where Jin trains and the photo she left on his desk from their childhood. She explains everything. After the accident, Lin was the one who brought her back from Canada to treat him. When Jin improved, he insisted on returning to China, so she moved with him, continuing treatment. To this day, his condition remains unstable. He must keep training. Mo feels crushed. She thought he'd been living happily without her. Meanwhile, he was fighting for every step. She decides to go all the way to Bangkok to collect his full medical records, needing to understand what he truly went through. Reading them shakes her. None of it was easy. When she returns, Jin calls and asking to meet. He needs to talk. Mo chooses the mountains on purpose, wanting to test whether he'll finally reveal the truth about his health. He refuses. He chooses silence, so she pushes him again. When they start walking uphill, he freezes, unable to continue. She walks ahead and waits, hoping he'll finally admit something. He doesn't, so she faces him. She tells him she knows everything, the treatments, the struggles, the pain. She asks, "How long will you keep running away from me like this?" He grows frustrated, not because she knows, but because he hates being seen weak in front of her. Later on the Mid-Autumn Festival, she messages him, saying they should spend the day together instead of being alone. But Jin is actually in the hospital with a fever, his condition worsening. Still, he refuses to worry her, telling her only that he's busy. She spends the day alone. After work, she goes to the cafe. The employee accidentally mentions that Jin left early because he felt sick. Before Mo can process it, Jin appears. Because the moment he heard she was there, he came. She doesn't confront him about lying. She simply asks whether he's okay. Seeing tears in her eyes, Jin goes behind the counter and prepares her coffee. Just like old times, that small kindness melts her. She asks to visit his home. At home, he heads into the kitchen to cook and she joins him, telling him how she's had to learn to cook herself, how hard life has been, how little she earns, how she struggles with rent and bills. He listens. She jokes that maybe she should just move in with him. He freezes. Suddenly, memories flood back. Hospitals, doctors, the fear of chaining her life to his pain. He never wanted that. He never wanted her trapped beside him through endless uncertainty. Returning from those thoughts, he finally speaks. "We're like the sun and the moon, Adi. We can't exist together." His words stab right through her. She tears up because no matter what, she still loves him. She couldn't imagine marrying another man because no one could ever make her feel what she felt for Jin. So she picked up her bag and walked away. At that moment, Jin realized he was being unfair to her, hurting her more than he intended. He followed her, trying to calm her down. He promised he would send her all of his medical reports so she could read them herself and fully understand his condition, then decide whether she truly wanted to stay with him or not. But for Mo, none of that mattered. She had already read those reports before. Later, she had a scheduled visit to the observatory, and suddenly she found Jin standing in front of her. He had come specifically to hear her answer. She took him to a high viewpoint and pointed at the sky. She explained that every year, the sun and the moon eventually meet, creating an eclipse. "Even nature changes," she said softly. "Why can't we?" In that moment, Jin realized he didn't need anything else in this world, except her. Afterward, they went to dinner with her colleagues, and she introduced him as her boyfriend. When they returned home, Mo noticed the model building sets on his table, the ones she had once bought for him so they could build them together. He told her he had already built them twice, once here and once back in the hospital, because he needed something to occupy himself, anything to take his mind off the empty feeling of her absence. Her heart trembled. When she gave them to him, she thought of dreams, time, and shared memories. She never imagined everything would fall apart so fast. The next morning, Jin prepared breakfast early. They needed to eat quickly, pack her things, and move her in with him. But Mo explained she had already prepaid 2 months' rent. Jin immediately transferred her the money, telling her, "Consider the rent taken care of. Let's move today." By evening, he brought her to the cafe and handed her the accounting book. He told her the place was hers now. He had built it for the day he could finally give it to her because it was her dream. He sent her home with the driver. He still had work to finish. The next day, Mo visited his university to check on him. He was now a respected professor in automotive engineering. She watched from the doorway as a student handed him a coffee just for him. Embarrassed by her jealousy, she turned to leave, but Jin followed her, amused. When he realized why she was upset, he gently placed his hand on her shoulder in front of everyone, letting the world know that he was no longer single. That night, they had dinner with San and Fang, who had moved to China as well. The reunion felt like stepping back 6 years, as if the old days in the workshop had come alive again. When they returned home, they found Lin waiting for them. We learned then that Jin and Lin opened a racing academy in Bangkok together, which is why Jin had to travel often. But this time, Lin came for another reason. He wanted Jin to race again. Ever since the accident, Jin had refused to drive. He had developed a deep trauma. Lin asked him to think about it. The next morning, Mo rushed out for work, forgetting her files. Jin grabbed them and ran downstairs, but the bus had already left. He noticed smoke coming from it and tried calling her repeatedly, but her phone was off. Instinct took over. He jumped into the car and drove as fast as he could. Thankfully, the bus driver stopped on his own. Moments later, Mo called. She was never on the bus. She was still at the nearby market. Jin exhaled, relieved, and went to bring her the documents. When she saw him driving by himself, her eyes widened. He had finally broken through his fear. That night, he cooked her favorite food. He explained that he had made a decision about racing. He now had a new dream, and he wanted to live the rest of his life by her side. They would travel to Canada the next month, meet her mother, and officially ask for her hand. Mo couldn't believe it. After everything, here they were. But when they arrived, her mother treated him coldly, barely speaking, acting as if he wasn't there at all. Eventually, Jin gathered his courage. He took out the gold gifts traditionally brought by a groom and asked sincerely for permission to marry Mo. Her mother dismissed him gently, telling him he was tired from the trip and needed rest. The next day, Jin found her alone in the garden, caring for her plants. He joined her quietly, recalling everything she had once taught him about flowers, how to water them, how to protect them. She softened. She realized he wasn't the enemy. He was simply trying his best. Finally, she agreed. When Mo woke up and saw them getting along, she was shocked. Somehow, he had melted her mother's heart. They spent the day celebrating Chinese New Year together. Before they left, her mother handed Jin a gift bag. At the airport, he opened it. Inside was a hand-knitted scarf, the same one he always wanted when he was a child. Deeply moved, Jin pulled out a ring. He proposed. Mo said yes instantly. When they returned home, they gathered with friends, even Kira and Hanan, celebrating their last day before marriage, revisiting memories and laughing about everything they survived. And on the wedding day, Jin decided to take her on his motorcycle. Just the two of them escaping together, finally living the dream they had carried all their lives. Jin is no longer the reckless boy he once was. Once he lived for danger. Fearless, wild, unstoppable. But now everything has changed because someone is waiting for him at home. Someone who anchors him, softens him, and gives him a reason to return safely every single time. Meanwhile, Mo softly says that she never wants to become his weakness. She wants to be his navigator, the one who guides him, steadies him, and stands beside him no matter how rough the road becomes. Jin admits that after quitting racing, he thought life would have no surprises left. Quiet, predictable, ordinary. But then, he found Mo. And as long as she is in his world, life will always stay full of beautiful surprises. Riding together on the bike, Mo looks at the endless road ahead, then turns to him and asks, "Mr. Jin, would you like to spend the rest of your life with me?" Jin smiles gently. Yes. In that quiet moment, it feels as if they are already married. Two souls choosing the same path, the same direction, the same destiny. Mo reflects that before this, Jin always left alone and always returned alone, but not anymore. From now on, wherever they will go together, and their shared destination will be their future. And with that, the drama comes to an end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Your support means so much. And tell me in the comments, which drama should we do next?